Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. Donald Trump is the most villainized, demonized, misunderstood man in the world of politics. I think that's pretty clear. But more so than any of that, he's also the most underappreciated. You know, you always see these neocon types and these moderate types saying stuff like, oh, you know, Donald Trump did this and that, but I really wish that he wouldn't tweet about Rosie O'Donnell. And honestly, the first word that comes to mind is entitlement. It's almost like when you hear somebody complaining about their ex-girlfriend or ex-boyfriend, and they're describing little things, I broke up with this person because of this, that, and the other, you know, small irrelevant stuff. But if you look at the whole picture, their ex-boyfriend or girlfriend was a great guy or gal. And in a lot of these cases, these people that end up being too picky or too specific or looking for this absolute Prince Charming, they end up alone, or they end up having to settle later down the line. That's how I feel when people complain about Donald Trump. You're complaining about mean tweets or some other nonsense because Donald Trump wasn't the perfect polished politician, but I'd say that's a very small downside considering all of the upside. The stability in the Middle East, the economy, domestic oil production, border security, the list goes on and on and on. If you're complaining about mean tweets, then you're entitled, you're looking for Mr. Perfect when Mr. Perfect doesn't exist. Hopefully I'm explaining this correctly and it's making sense, because it's something that's been on my mind and it's something that I've brought up in so many different discussions. I've said it a little bit differently in those discussions, mind you, more along something along the lines of you keep complaining about Donald Trump, but really you should be kissing the man's shoes. I'm a little bit different and straight to the point outside of my YouTube videos, but I bring all of this up because I feel like Donald Trump doesn't get the credit that he deserves. And there's a video that's been bouncing all over Twitter, and it's yet again one of those moments where Donald Trump was right. A phenomenon that seems endlessly recurring. And it's related, of course, to my whole monologue to the intro. I'm going to try to make this whole thing come full circle. Let me show you guys exactly what's going on. Excuse the long intro. Let's get into this video. Alright folks, so there's this absolutely stunning video that's bouncing all over the internet. It's a video from the year 2000 from a book that Donald Trump wrote, apparently in 1999, that's 23 years ago, where he essentially predicted the 9/11 attack on the World Trade Center. Take a look at this.
BuzzFeed dug up an old quote from Donald Trump talking about a large-scale terror attack 19 months before 9/11. In his 2000 book, The America We Deserve, Trump wrote, "I really am convinced we're in danger of the sort of terrorist attacks that will make the bombing of the 1993 Trade Center look like little kids playing with firecrackers." Trump also mentioned the mastermind of the attack, writing, quote, "One day, we're told that a shadowy figure with no fixed address named Osama bin Laden is public enemy number one, and U.S. jet fighters lay waste to his camp in Afghanistan. He escapes back under some rock, and a few news cycles later, it's on to a new enemy and a new crisis." Trump.
Wait.
Yeah.
Okay, hold on a second. Is this really Trump before 9/11? Have you read this?
It's 2000 in his book.
Are we making this? Did you make
Nick.
this up, Mika?
Nick.
I did.
Did you make this up?
Yeah,
Nick,
exactly.
tell us it's over, right? Because
Will
you're
you
wrong
stop?
about everything.
Mika, stop. God.
I don't think it's over.
What's
I
that?
think
What's the
Trump and Ben
rage here? Will
Carson
you
are-
stop
No,
picking
it's
on
cute.
him?
I think it's cute.
Well,
go for it.
No, really quickly though. I mean, so Willie, that was
2000.
2000.
In a book he wrote in the year 2000. Yeah.
Well, it was published in 2000. He could have written it in 1999 for all we know.
Exactly. He might have
But
been
he-
a bit more precious.
So he basically predicted the attacks from Osama bin Laden.
And immediately, that was giving me flashbacks to Donald Trump's UN speech where he warned German officials about the devastating consequences of their reliance on Russian oil. And immediately, lights started going off in my brain and I started to think, Donald Trump is actually one of the greatest foreign policy presidents of our lifetime. It sounds crazy, but is it really? I mean, just in the last year of Donald Trump's administration, he signed how many peace deals and treaties in the Middle East? The man did historic stuff. He handled China like the true paper tiger that they were. He hit Iran with some devastating sanctions, and it's no surprise that all of a sudden as Joe Biden takes over, it seems like the US government is trying to draft the Iran nuclear deal version 2.0, another complete disaster. Donald Trump got the Western world on speaking terms with North Korea, completely reformed NAFTA, and probably the most important thing, Donald Trump is the first US president to have not started a war, or to have not been a president during wartime at all. The 4 years of Donald Trump were nothing but economic prosperity, peace, and global progression. And it brings me right back to what I was mentioning earlier. You're complaining about mean tweets. When gas was $2 a gallon, taxes were low, unemployment was low, real wages were up, and there was some semblance of order and peace across the globe. These people who complain about Donald Trump's character, Donald Trump's Twitter account, you are out of line. Donald Trump is the most unappreciated man. People say that he's just an arrogant businessman with a big mouth. No, I think Donald Trump is almost even a misunderstood genius. I mean, the guy predicted the Osama bin Laden terror threat 2 years before it happened. He has always been on the ball. People criticize him as if he's just a big shot business blowhard, but I think there's a whole lot more depth to his character than that. And it really makes you ponder, it really makes you think. Donald Trump, this guy who oversaw incredible economic times of freedom and times of peace, happens to be the most vilified man on the planet. Donald Trump, the man who saw all the corruption and all the warmongering garbage in the government, the man who then stepped in and most importantly stepped in the way, it starts to make sense why he's so vilified. It starts to make sense why they're stopping at nothing to destroy him. Not just to beat him politically and beat him at the ballot box, they're trying to put the man in prison. They're trying to disqualify the guy legally from ever being able to run again. It's been endless investigation, one after another, and you start to think, maybe Donald Trump is the anti-hero that the world needed. Here's actually another viral video that's been bouncing around all over the internet. Take a look at this.
To start wars and change governments, it's not to sort of deter conflict. We're going to invade countries, and my mind was spinning. They wanted us to destabilize the Middle East, turn it upside down. Now, did anybody ever tell you that? Was there a national dialogue on this? Did senators and congressmen stand up and denounce this plan? Was there a full-fledged American debate on it? Absolutely not. And there still isn't. I was leaving the Pentagon, and an officer from the Joint Staff called me into his office and said, I want you to know, he said, sir, we're going to attack Iraq. And I said, why? He said, we don't know. He said, I said, well, did they tie Saddam to 9/11? He said, no. And then I came back to the Pentagon about 6 weeks later. I saw the same officer. I said, why haven't we attacked Iraq? We still going to attack Iraq? He said, oh, sir. He says, it's worse than that. He said, he pulled up a piece of paper off his desk. He said, I just got this memo from the Secretary of Defense's office. It says we're going to attack and destroy the governments in 7 countries in 5 years. We're going to start with Iraq, and then we're going to move to Syria, Lebanon, Libya, Somalia, Sudan, and Iran. It was a pretty stunning thing. You mean the purpose of the military is to start wars and change governments? It's not to sort of deter conflict? We're going to invade countries? And my mind was spinning. And I put that aside. It was like a nugget that you hold on to. This country was taken over by a group of people with a policy coup. Wolfowitz and Cheney and Rumsfeld, and you could name a half dozen other collaborators from the Project for a New American Century. They wanted us to destabilize the Middle East, turn it upside down, make it under our control.
With 2020 hindsight, looking back at American recent history, the Cheneys and the Bushes and of course the Bidens, Joe Biden was a big proponent of all the war starting from the early 2000s, all the invasions and all the toppling of regimes. Maybe those guys, those warmongers, have some sort of vested interest in stopping Donald Trump at any and all cost. Maybe the establishment that seeks to keep you stupid and uninformed is angry at the man who's been calling them out for decades, angry at the man who sees right through their sham, and maybe, just maybe, Donald Trump wasn't that bad. Maybe, just maybe, he should get the credit that he deserves, not the lukewarm Donald Trump but statement. Donald Trump was good, but, maybe. That sentence should go through a little bit of restructuring, putting the but before Trump. Mean tweets and all and a little bit of drama, but Donald Trump was a legend. Legendary. That's just how I feel in 2020 hindsight. I'm just winging it. It's a freestyle like I always do, folks. Hopefully it made sense. It all came full circle, even with the clip that I played later on. And hopefully you guys enjoyed it. If you did, of course, leave a like and possibly subscribe to the channel. I'm gonna get back to work. I want to thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.